everybody, it's Witty. If this is your first time here, hi, hello. I'm a full-time internet goblin on a mission to cultivate community through creativity and making and sharing weird art and games. And today is a very special episode because I'm joined by my good friends Jamie Daggers and Malev. Do you
What's
guys
up,
want to
y'all?
introduce yourself?
I'd love to. Hi, I'm Jamie Daggers. I'm a full-time professional mini painter and streamer on Twitch. I also do YouTube and other social media where I post all of my finished work.
What's up, y'all? My name is Malev. I'm a game designer. I paint miniatures. I have my hands in all sorts of hats, and I'm really excited to play Night Thirst today.
Today's a very special episode because I'm going to be running these two through a game of Night Thirst, which is my very first game that I've ever designed, and I'm very excited about it. It came out on February 14th, Valentine's Day. It is a tabletop miniatures battle royale game where you are a vampire who is attempting to out-hunt your opponents and suck the most blood before the sun rises. So Night Thirst is essentially a game within a game because in vampire society, vampires have existed forever, and there are these huge generational gaps between different kinds of vampires. You know, you have vampires that were turned in medieval times, and you have vampires that were turned last week. So what do those vampires have in common? Sucking blood. So a long time ago, there was something called the Night Thirst that was created where vampires, they each choose a champion from their clan to represent them in the Night Thirst, where they will be attempting to outhunt the other vampire. The way that you win a game of Night Thirst is you collect 20 blood tokens, or you are the last vampire standing at the end of the 6th round. So what we are looking at is a board all set up and ready to play Night Thirst. There are various scenarios in Night Thirst. There is a scenario 101 that's just sort of set up to get the general idea as far as terrain requirements, what kinds of prey, and how many you want there to be. There are also more themed scenarios. You can also really pick and choose. So I designed Night Thirst to be something where it really encourages you to use what you have. If all of your terrain is super medieval or grimdark, or it's space or it's western.
So using the different types of terrains you have, it doesn't necessarily matter what time period they're from because vampires are timeless, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So the thing about the Night Thirst is vampires have been doing it so long, and they're probably going to do it forever. So yeah, you can have vampires in medieval times, you can have vampires in space. It all works. I want you to be able to sort of look at the scenario 101 and build off of that. There are different types of terrain in Night Thirst. So we've got dense area terrain, we've got blocking terrain, and area terrain. The most common form of terrain in Night Thirst will be blocking terrain, which you can see most of this board is made up of. And basically, most vampires will interact with blocking terrain as you would imagine. It is blocking them, it is impeding them from moving through it. They can move on top of it using something called dynamic movement, or they may be able to move through it using special abilities. So today's scenario, we are going off of the industrial plant. We've changed it a little bit, so it's kind of a hybrid between the industrial plant and the scenario 101. So of course, we have our industrial plant. And we've got 3 hired gun prey. We'll say that those are most likely security guards. We have our 5 worker preys. Maybe they're working on electronics, maybe they're maintenance. And then we have our 2 civilian prey. It's up to your interpretation what they're doing out there in the woods. We also have on the board stake agents, which those will come into play if there are too many terrified prey on the board. Their job will be to eliminate terrified prey because their purpose is to keep vampires and the Night Thirst a secret. We also have our reaction tokens. We can use these to signify what level of fear our prey is in. Maybe they will hear a cry for help and they will react. Maybe they will be stunned. We also have our tokens for our vampires if they are disguised or hidden, maybe using their special abilities. Bleeding tokens to signify prey models that are bleeding. And dead body tokens as well, which those will take the place of our prey tokens if they are drained of all their blood. These are the prey that are going to be on our board, and these are where our blood tokens are going to be drained from today. These prey do not know that they're in the Night Thirst, but our vampires do. And do you guys want to tell us what vampires you're going to play as?
I'm playing as the partier, so I get to play as Witty, while Witty teaches me how to play Night Thirst.
I'm going to play the newly turned. We're both kind of I think these are interesting matchups of the available sorts.
We also have our blood tokens, which is how we will track our victory. All the different types of prey have different blood stats, and the blood stat is going to tell us how many blood tokens are available to a vampire who is biting them, and that will be taken from their total blood value. And our blood tokens here are going to track that. They're going to track how much blood is being taken out of prey, and they're going to go on our vampire cards, which is where we'll keep track of those. So the 6 vampire types will all have different stats. They'll have different strengths. They'll have different preferences for what kind of prey they like to eat. And they will have special abilities. And all of this you will be keeping track of on your handy dandy little vampire chart that will sit right in front of you while you're playing. It's where you'll put your blood tokens so you can keep track of them. And you'll also be able to see when you have unlocked a special ability. Every vampire has 4 stats. They have dread, they have grace, they have power, and vitality. Dread is the aura that a vampire gives off. Grace is their gracefulness, it is their movement stat as well. So a vampire with a grace of 6 can move 6 inches, and that will be their full movement. They have power, which is their physical strength, and they have their vitality, which is basically their HP. It's basically their health. In a game of Night Thirst, you will be asked to perform certain checks, and these are the stats that you're going to use while making these checks. The first thing you're going to do when setting up a game of Night Thirst is you are going to choose which scenario, whether or not you are building your own, and you are going to place appropriate terrain and light sources. We've gone ahead and set up our light sources. We went with 4. We have our board set, we have our scenario picked out, we have our terrain, and you guys have chosen your vampires, and now we are going to place our prey. We are going to place these prey based on the scenario of the industrial plant. We are going to place the 2 civilians anywhere in the area terrain. They are just kind of running around. They're up to no good.
Jamie, do you want to do our first roll off to see who goes first?
Sure, let's do it.
All right, I'm gonna roll my d20 over here in my dice tray.
Whoever wins this roll off is going to start by placing prey, and then you guys will alternate.
Okay. All right. So what am I getting? I got an 11.
I got a 12.
What? I didn't even. I was waiting for you to roll. I'm gonna
Oh,
look
my
back at
bad.
the tape. I'm gonna look back at the
I rolled-
tape,
I
y'all.
I rolled before you were like, okay, this is when you play. I
What are
think
they up to?
this one's sticking to the light. I think we're just gonna boop, right there.
All right, in the headlights of that car.
Yeah, they're smooching.
I'm gonna put this guy
but
over
really-
here. They know each other. They're like friends.
So now we're going to place our 3 hired guns near smaller pieces of blocking terrain.
And the silos are kind of. There's no real like size distinction in Night Thirst. It's kind of like common sense. This guy, look, he's gonna go by this dumpster.
But I think
And
that's
this one
great.
be standing on top of the car like an action hero.
You
Hell
know
yeah.
what? Rule of cool.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Look at him.
This person is taking their job way too seriously, and they've
This hired
already
gun's like-
decided.
So now we are placing our workers.
My worker is out here working on this like pipe, checking the diagnostics of the pressure.
Mine is going to be right here in between these two so that he can get advantage of both of the valves to make sure that they don't overflow.
Oh dang! This worker
Doing a very good job.
is over here in the light, making sure that the pressure doesn't exceed.
Playing Candy Crush. What are you talking about? I like that there's steps right here, so I'm going to put mine kind of like walking up here on this little
I like
on
it.
this little like raised platform.
Nice.
Excuse me,
Mhm.
sir.
Bigfoot?
What are you doing out here? This is the industrial plant. And my guy's like, flex.
To me, the civilian standing in the headlights of the car, for some reason, I feel like they're just like doing an interpretive dance. in the
Yes, that's
headlights.
exactly what I was just thinking.
So now we are going to place our vampires. In Night Thirst, the first person who can call out a vampire movie or famous vampire.
Brad Pitt.
The actor?
No.
Or
Yeah, Brad Pitt, the actor. I don't know.
The first one of you that can tell me the name of a famous vampire or a vampire movie will have
what if
initiative.
somebody just said Dracula?
So I guess you get to go first again because you said Dracula.
I said Dracula,
You
the
did.
famous vampire
You
Dracula.
did. He's the famous. He's the famous.
He's the famousest.
Vampire, the guy, Dracula.
Jamie gets to go first because she
She
said
does.
Dracula. You're going to pick a prey model and you are going to place your vampire no closer than 4 inches and no further than 12 inches.
Okay, so I'm gonna place right there. Boop.
You'll do the same, but you're not going to place your vampire within 8 inches of Jamie's vampire.
That's right. Step off. This is my turf.
Look at, I'm gonna be in this dense area terrain over here, just crouching in the bushes, watching my man's interpretive dance.
Now that we have placed our vampires, we have placed our prey, we are going to begin the first phase of the game, which is the vampire phase. You are going to be able to choose your actions. You always get to do a effortless action, 3 simple actions, or you can do 1 simple action and 1 challenging action.
And Winnie, those can be taken in any order, correct?
That is correct. Whatever order that you want to take those in, so you can do an action and then your movement. You can move first and then perform an action. It's however you want to do it.
Well, I would like to use an effortless action to move up to the civilian here. Can you tell me
so
a little
tasty.
bit about dense area terrain?
Because you're in dense area terrain, you can see for a distance of 3 inches within that terrain. You cannot perform a full movement in area terrain. So you could use most of your movement to get up to the edge, and then you would have to get out of it your following move.
In other words, leaving an area terrain will take up 2 actions.
That's
so in this
correct.
case, I want to use my effortless action to move up to the civilian here. And then I will use a challenging action to feed.
Yes, let's drink some blood. Let's roll the dice.
First.
So you're able to feed because you are in base-to-base contact with your prey. So this is a challenging action. So you're looking to get a 15 or higher, and you can choose to add either your grace or your power stat to the roll. Yeah, so I'm going to have you roll a d20.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
that's a 2.
Bang.
That is a failure.
Party doesn't really hit its stride until much later. So this is just the first
The
couple.
icebreaker.
So you just failed and you did not bite them, and you can feel free to narrate that as you would wish. But what's going to happen mechanically is this prey is going to have their fear raised by 1 level. So right now they're calm, and then they are going to go to nervous. If they get scared again, they will go to terrified, which is the most scared that a prey can be.
So I picture it as the partier, who looks a lot like the hit YouTube sensation game designer Whittle Goblin.
That's what I was thinking.
Partier comes kind of sidling out from behind a tree and gets a little too close to this guy. And in the failed feeding action, I think they kind of like take a step back, like, whoa, 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 I don't know you, kind of thing.
And they're feeling a little bit nervous.
Little nervous.
That being a effortless action and then a challenging action, you do have a simple action if you would like to take it.
I would like to take it. So I'm going to use another movement to get to the other side of the dense area terrain.
So that's going to be the
All that
haste
cortisol.
action, difficulty 10.
And if you succeed, you'll take that full movement. And if you fail on haste, that means you will take half that movement.
Ooh.
Uh-oh, I get
Ooh.
half movement because I got 9.
Because your grace is 6, that means your half movement would be 3 inches.
Which
You just like lean in and you're like, sorry. You just run.
I think it will be cool to interrupt the dance party that's kind of happening here. Woody, how does light work?
So, because this prey that you are looking at, they're in the light, they cannot see outside of that radius of light right now. Everything that they can see while they are in it is within that radius, so they cannot see you right now.
All right, so I'm going to do my effortless move action, which is just move equal to my grace, right?
Yep, so you can move 5 inches.
I got 5
your full
on
movement.
it. I'm gonna move about 4.5 inches and stay out of the light, but I'm gonna bite this worker.
Come out of nowhere.
Yeah, this guy who's dancing is gonna see quite a sight right here. Ooh, we have an Archie sighting. Now we
It's
get
a celebrity.
Spam Archies in the chat.
yeah. All right, so I've used my effortless. I'm going to use a challenging action. Difficulty 15. I'm power 6. I'm newly turned. My dude's feeling it. I'm just going to go for a straight honeysuckle type bite. So I
Leave
got
that.
9. So I also failed. He's too newly turned. I bungled
Sorry,
it.
I jinxed you.
Now that person's nervous because they're like, excuse me, sir, did you just try and grab me and bite my neck? And I was like, what?
Imagine if they
No,
That's
run into each
crazy.
that
other.
is crazy. I would never do anything like that. I'm going to use my last simple action to disguise myself.
So when you roll disguise, you are going to subtract your dread from that because your spooky vampire aura is going to take away from your ability to
Mhm.
blend into being a human, because there are two ways to hide in night. There's physically hiding yourself, and there is disguising yourself, and that's disguising yourself as a human. If you are successful in disguising yourself, then you will just appear as calm prey.
My guy has, he quickly puts on like a thick mustache.
Whoa, who was
And he
that
looks
guy?
at her and he goes, did you see that?
Disguise can be so many things, but
All right.
basically, whatever it is, it's going to result in a success. It's going to result as them regarding you as fellow like prey,
It's just a
and
regular
calm prey.
person. All right, I'm
Mhm.
doing it. I gotta subtract 4 from this roll. Oh,
right, who loaded these dice?
no. I got a 13, chat. My Burt Reynolds mustache. I put it on upside down.
So that we've got 2 nervous prey on the board and no blood spilled. So we have taken our actions.
I think that means it's prey phase.
It is, in fact, the prey phase. The way that the prey phase is going to work is it's going to go in order of levels of fear. And within levels of fear, it's going to go who's closest to a vampire. We've got this worker who is nervous right base to base with Malev's newly turned. And that is going to be the closest because our other nervous prey is not quite base to base anymore with Jamie's partier. So it is worth noting here that this prey, because they are nervous, we are going to be adding 2 inches to their movement. So they're going to move for a total of 8 inches. So because we are starting this prey phase with this nervous prey in base-to-base contact with Malev's vampire, they're going to attempt an attack reaction. They're going to try to hit you right now. Because they are attempting to attack, they're going to try to roll a 15. They're going to add their bold stat, which in this case is 2 to that roll. And they roll.
I rolled a 2.
So we got 4
That's
total.
not going to work.
Nope.
Because they failed, their fear is going to raise by 1 level and then they're done. The next is because we're going down that order, is we are going to go to this nervous prey over by Jamie. Because this prey is nervous and they don't have a help reaction, they're not in base-to-base contact with a vampire, they are going to investigate. So what they're going to do first is they're going to move their full movement, and because they're nervous, instead of 6 inches, that's going to be 8. So they're going to move 8 inches towards the nearest calm prey. They're going to go towards that calm prey that's on the other side of the pipe because that is the closest.
Someone just tried to kiss hug me.
So now that our nervous prey has made their way towards the nearest calm prey, they are going to do an investigation check. Investigate is a simple action of 10. There is no modifier. We're just going to roll and see if they get a 10 or not.
He's investigating. Wow.
Wait, a 3 again?
A 3 again.
Yeah.
Failed. They
Low.
do not notice anything ordinary and their fear level does not change.
They're done. So we did all the nervous prey, starting with who's closest to vampires, and now we're going to do all the calm prey, starting with which ones are closest to vampires. Calm prey in the free state, which means they're not being fed upon right now. They don't have any reaction tokens on them. There's nothing that they need to sort out. There's nothing that they need to do. They're going to take their full movement, and that's going to be them moving towards the nearest calm prey, and then they are going to perform investigation. They're just walking around and looking around.
Walk past this terrified prey, and he's in the area terrain, so he won't be able to clear it. After he does the move, they make an investigate check. Well,
We rolled above a 5.
you did, but they didn't see me. He's just like, I don't know what's happening with y'all, but it's Boogie Nights over here.
So they performed an investigation check and it failed.
Didn't even see me.
That's the end of their activation, and we are going to move on to the next calm prey that is closest to a vampire. So this worker is going to move towards the nearest calm prey and also perform an investigation check. Calm prey would be our dancing friend Larry. These two are just moving
Yes.
towards each other, meant to be.
Oh.
This is getting kind of crazy. The
Hello.
prey are really congregating, which is fun when this happens because once one is terrified, they're all gonna end up very scared very fast.
I'm talking.
They're hanging. They
All
are
right,
talking,
so
which makes
investigation
sense.
check now.
All right, so Jamie, that is a success. What is going to happen is if there is a dead body token or a vampire within their line of sight, And it looks like Malev's newly turned is within their line of sight, and you are not 3 inches in
Yeah.
that terrain, so you're right on the outskirts, so they can
They
see
just-
you, and they can see your flopping little mustache
What's
hanging
up
off
with
the
that
side of
guy's
your face.
mustache?
Their fear level, because this is a success right now, terrified. They're like, that's the freakiest mustache I've ever seen in my entire life. So we're moving down the line to this prey. So
Alright,
they're
so
gonna
just go
move
on
right
here.
there.
Stunk.
Within their line of sight, there's no even potential for them to see a vampire or a dead body right now. So their activation will end. So the next closest, I would say, it's this hired gun in the light right there.
He goes, hey, friend. And then his activation ends. And then the next closest, and then he will go, what are you doing on that car?
That's the nearest person to them. They're just hanging out.
He's showing him his new moves. I learned the windmill the
I
other
like-
day. This worker will barely move. And then
Mhm.
this worker kind of do the same thing. Walk over here and just get down these stairs.
That is a prey phase. So now that moves us to the blood phase, which this is typically when you would look, you would check like, hey, have any of us collected 20 blood tokens? Just making sure, ooh, do I have any special abilities that I can unlock? And you guys didn't get any blood this first round, so
Not
Sorry.
for lack of trying.
valiant efforts. And you know what? We're about to come up on, we're gonna come up on another vampire phase very soon, and y'all are close to some prey. So now that we're at the stakes phase, this is marking the kind of closure of this round. So we are going to move our little marker. We're going to signify that we've gone through a phase on the solar tracker. That's showing us how many rounds we have left until the sun comes up and the game is over, regardless of how many blood tokens that we have all collected. The stakes phase is also when we're going to see whether or not the terrified prey have drawn the attention of any stake agents. What we're going to do is we're going to roll a d20 and we are going to add the number of terrified prey on the board. We have 2 terrified prey right now, but a 15 or higher is going to draw the attention of a stake agent. All right, so I have my very modestly sized d20 and I am going to roll to see if we are going to spawn a stake agent.
We're adding 2 to this.
Oh,
Oh,
It was like-
So there are no stake agents. These stake agents are watching right now and they're keeping an eye on it and they're going, okay, things seem calm enough. No stake agents on the board right now. And we are going to use our solar tracker to signify the round that we are about to begin. So I'm going to drop that right there. And with that, we can begin the second round. We are going to start back up at the top. We are going to do the vampire phase. And typically, this is when we would check for something called bloodlust. We would see if there are any blood tokens on the board because sometimes hunting people can get messy. Sometimes blood gets left behind. Sometimes prey is bleeding. But there's no blood on the board yet. And unfortunately, no blood in your bellies. So typically, we would kind of redo initiative, as it were, every vampire phase with the hungriest vampires going. So whoever has the least amount of blood tokens is going to go, and it's going to go in that order. But we'll have you guys roll for it if you would like, because neither of you have anything to eat yet.
I got 6.
I got a 13.
Oh my
Ooh.
god.
Ladies first.
It's
We'll fix it
Jamie's
in post.
turn.
I want to catch up to Fred here before he can get back to the squad. And I just so happen to be just shy of 6 inches away. So,
So that's
I'm
your
gonna,
effortless move right there.
Hello,
So I'm going to
Fred.
effortlessly try again now that his back's turned to me. Okay,
Ooh.
so I'm going to feed.
So we're going to add 6 to this. We're adding your grace to this.
I'm going to actually roll for this feed. There we go.
Did you do it? You did
Let's
it!
go. I
That's
finally
a
did it.
16.
Yeah, that's
That's
a good.
yummy feed. So our friend Fred here is a civilian, which means that they have a blood stat of 3. You are going to take 3 blood tokens from them, and their total blood value is 6. So half of their blood is gone now.
I would also like to point out that he is a civilian, which is my preferred prey.
Oh, what?
That is such a
Oh my
fun
gosh.
coincidence. Yes, because right now you are feeding on your preferred prey type, you are so in your element. This is your favorite kind of food. So what's going to happen right now, because you are feeding on your preferred prey type, you are going to roll your d20 again. And if you land on evens, then you are going to get an additional blood token. Let's go. Ooh! That is an extra blood token for you. Now you are going to grab your blood tokens and you are going to place them on your vampire card. Because you rolled evens, because you got that 18, you are going to be able to get an additional blood token to put on your vampire tracker. This does not come from the civilian's blood value. This is just a bonus blood token, but you're going to be able to add it. So now you have 4. That was a very successful feed.
Cool.
You'll notice that the newly turned does not have a prey preference. This can be for 2 reasons. One, some newly turned are having a very difficult time coping with what it is that they have become, their loss of humanity. They don't want to drink blood. They, have found themselves in the night thirst, but this is not where they would choose to be. So they don't have a preference. They'd rather not. Or 2, they don't have a preference because they are excited by this new form and they are really enjoying trying a little bit of everything, and they don't really quite know what their favorite is yet. That is a terrified person who is in the food state. You'll notice that feeding, so initiating a feed, biting into a victim, is a challenging action that you succeeded. That was a 15 that you were trying to get. So, but now that you're here, it's a little bit less. That is just a straight 10 with no modifier right now.
The dub is coming.
13. Sucky suck.
You're feeding on poor Fred here, and that is equal to his blood stat, which is 3.
He's
and
drained.
that's what he has left. He is done. Jamie's going to take his last 3 blood tokens and maybe get an additional bonus blood. She is feeling herself. Yep.
Ooh, another 10.
So as Jamie is placing these blood tokens, you are going.
Body.
So you're going to notice that the specially marked blood drops, those numbers, those are being covered up, which means that Jamie just unlocked special abilities. Normally, if you would unlock one special ability, you'd have to pick which one. You could strategize, you could look at them, see what seems like the most fun to do. Jamie doesn't have to do that. Jamie just unlocked both of those, and now she can utilize those. Those are effortless actions. So that's something that she's just got ready to go. This guy is a dead body token. He is
no longer
dunzo.
terrified.
Just guts in the woods.
I see the dust in the wind, but guts in the woods.
All we are is guts
That's
in the woods.
You don't even have to choose which special ability that you want.
You just get them
You
both.
got both.
You've got last call and you've got good time. Those are just in your pocket. That's a killer turn.
It is.
That's a hell of a turn.
That is.
We killed a man.
Start off my turn. What I want to do is first do my first simple action, which is attack.
Okay, so you're gonna attack this worker right here.
Yep, the one that I failed to bite last time.
Is a simple action, so you are going for, so typically that would be a 10, but we're going to add their bold stat. So this is a worker, so they have a bold stat of 2. You are going to be trying to get a 12 to successfully attack this person.
Target number 12. So I'm adding 6 in this case, trying to beat 12. All right, here we go. Check out my mustache. Slice.
That's a critical success.
That's a critical.
Which means we get to make our way over to the critical success chart. Because when you critically succeed or you critically fail, which we call a falter, something extra happens. What's going to happen is going to depend on your vampire type. So we're going to go pull up our chart, our critical success chart. Congratulations. And we're going to go to the newly turned. And would you like to read to us what happens?
I would. You feel a surge of energy and truly like you're coming into your own. See, I knew that. I said, check these joints out. And went. Now it says I gain advantage on my next attack.
Yes. So because you were just successful in this attack action, they are going to drop one of their blood tokens, and that is coming from their blood value. So if you move over a blood token, or if you are in base contact with a blood token, that is now yours, and that is added to your collected blood tokens. They have the bleeding condition.
Terrified and bleeding. That's terrible.
That is a rough combination. So what's going to be happening is when they take their movement, they're also going to be dropping their blood tokens.
Because I critically succeeded and I got advantage, I think he's going to try and grow talon fingers with his other hand. All right, so same process then. All right, so I rolled a 2, which is
But you do
not
have
good.
advantage.
Here we go. This one's
Here we go.
totally deadly.
That
Hiya.
passes.
All right, so one
Numbers
more.
are numbering.
Yes. Oh gosh. All right. We got an extra blood token. 2 blood. The person's already bleeding. They can't be bleeding more.
That's right.
And I have one more simple action. I've got a grace of 5. I should be able to move this way and like grab this token, no problem. Another inch and grab that token, no problem.
Do a loop.
Yeah, and then end up here, base to base. All right, so I
So
got
those blood.
1 blood. Ooh, and then on my second blood, I actually unlocked an ability. Which one do I want?
You've got human facade and you've got part of the crowd.
I think I'm gonna do part of the crowd.
The special ability part of the crowd means that the newly turned can choose to lean into their remaining human nature and move freely among prey by performing the disguise action with an automatic success. Don't forget too that you are experiencing a blood surge
I was
now.
just thinking that.
Everybody within 6 inches of you is going to have their fear level raised. So because you just experienced this blood surge, which again, you can narrate it however you want it to go down, every prey within 6 inches of you, they don't need line of sight. Their fear level is now being raised by 1 level. You've done 2 simple actions and an effortless, which means you have 1 simple action.
Got
that you
one
can
more
take.
simple, which I could do again.
You could attack him.
I'm gonna do that.
You're being very mean
I don't
while
know.
you're hunting people.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
It
He
feels
showed
thematic
up.
that, I've been using grace-based attack tactics, and Malev has been using brutish tactics. It's very much on brand for the characters that we're playing.
Oh no.
What? What did you just roll? Oh no! Malev just rolled a 1. That is a falter. This is great.
This is
I'm sorry
great.
to delight in your failure, but this is great.
I'm not.
I'll read it. So
Okay.
it says, you look into the eyes of your target, this dancing man, and you feel a sense of loss for your remaining humanity. I just attacked that woman. And now my attack fails, and I flee 6 inches in a random direction just because of my shame.
Randomization, what you can do is you can roll the d20, and then wherever that triangle is pointing,
6 this way.
that way.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, what have I done? What have I done? It wasn't a great turn, but it was a greatly illustrative turn. You know?
It's great because the partier is like, oh, sorry, I just had to get warmed up. All right, I just killed you. And then the newly turned is like, what the is going on? It's so good. So we are in the prey phase of the second round. We are going to have the terrified prey that is closest. So it would
This one, right?
be, yeah, it's going to be that worker. Terrified prey, they always start a turn by having a scream reaction. What we're going to do is we are going to roll our d20, add the bravery stat of the terrified prey to the roll. Can they get a scream out? Oh, they sure can. At this point, what's going to happen is all prey that is either calm or nervous within 12 inches, they're going to hear that scream and they're going to gain a help token. So unfortunately for them, their scream was successful, but nobody heard it. So they are now going to take their movement and they are going to move an additional 4 inches because they are terrified. They have so much adrenaline pumping through their body right now. Total of 10 inches towards the nearest calm prey.
She's gonna run 10 inches.
He's screaming.
He screams, but there's still no one around to hear. Follow-up move.
Prey just side by
They're
side.
just running towards the
Running.
light. Uh-oh.
This prey, she is going to run, but she's going to drop another blood token as she does it. She's going to move towards the nearest calm prey.
Because she's in the terrain.
She's not going to get out. So this worker over there is going to take their movement and they're going to investigate. And so that is the end of our prey phase. We are now at our blood phase. We do not have anybody with 20, so we do not have a winner yet. We are going to move on over to the stakes phase. We have 3 terrified prey on the board. That means we are going to roll the dice and we are going to add 3 to it. 17, 18, 19, 20. That is a build 20. That means that there's now a stake agent being placed on the board. Their priority is to remove terrified prey. If they remove terrified prey, nobody gets that blood. They are going to take your lunch. Because a stake agent is coming into play now, they are going to be placed down onto a corner of the board. You can randomize this if you would like, but I kind of intended it to be cinematically rule of cool. So wherever you think it would make the most sense that they would be coming in from, I think would probably be this corner in the woods.
He's coming in.
Okay, things are getting too out of hand. Let's take care of this.
Hey y'all, editing Malev here. It appears that I have lost the first 2 minutes of round 3. But fear not, I will tell you exactly what happened. Surely our bleeding worker model bled out, as bleeding models bleed at the beginning of the vampire phase. And then the next thing that happened was that since I have the least amount of blood tokens, I have initiative. So, we're about to check in with Bloodlust. Let's see how that goes.
So because of that, you are going to check for Bloodlust. So you are going to roll. If you get a 15 or higher, then you do
Aw.
not succumb to Bloodlust, and you can make your own decisions.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make my own decisions.
You just failed critically. You move towards the closest tokens.
And her dead
And-
body. That's my whole turn. No.
That's your whole turn. Because you were coming into contact with those blood tokens, you've succumbed to your bloodlust. You are too distracted by your excitement for blood. You are doing nothing else. Your turn is done.
I wanted to
stoked.
eat. I wanted to eat. My boy's so hungry.
You're still the hungriest vampire. And that means it's Jamie's turn.
Okay. So I think I'm going to do a effortless movement.
I would recommend you utilize haste to move out of here. So you'll use one of your simple actions and you will still have your effortless.
Let's do it. So I just need a 10, and I'm adding my grace stat to this roll. That's going to do it. So I get to move
She is
6
beauty,
inches
she is grace. Yes,
I
you
did that
get to
backwards.
move your
Hold on.
full movement.
right here. And
So
now,
now you're
I'm
looking at a
going-
wall.
I'm gonna try to
I
do a
am.
jump.
This is a dynamic movement, right?
So if you are going to use your dynamic movement, you are going to, on a success, be able to take your normal horizontal movement, but you can ignore vertical limitations. So if you want to jump on top of that silo, if you want to jump over this wall, you can do that.
Look like I passed to
So
me
that's
with the
pretty-
12.
That's a 18 total, right? Add your grace.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're going on top of the silo.
Oh yeah, you know I am, because I'm going to use my new special move.
If you are going to utilize good time, it means that all of these people within your line of sight, you can try to lure them in. If you are successful, they are going to come towards you. You are going to be rolling for a target number of 5 plus the bold stat of the highest one. So that's going to be the hired guns. They have a bold stat of 4. This is only going to affect compre because people are nervous. If people are terrified, they don't want to party with you. It's
Yeah.
like you're a siren.
I think that's
That's
gonna
gonna do it. Yay.
I say, everybody, free churros.
That's gonna do it. That's gonna be our quick vampire phase. And we're
Yes.
gonna move on to the prey. And this will be interesting because we have got a stake agent on the board. As we did last time, we are gonna start with our terrified prey, these two right here. We are going to have this prey model scream. There's a target number of 10, and we're gonna add their bravery stat to this roll.
rolling. I rolled the 7.
Their bravery, their worker, it is 2.
Two.
They don't scream, but they are going to take their movement now, which they are terrified. So that is going to be a total of 10 inches towards the nearest calm prey. Terrified.
All right.
And
Next
now
civilian, same thing.
they have a bravery of 3.
17. He's screaming.
He's screaming real loud. So everybody, let's see, who's within 12 inches?
Ooh, we got this
Oh
guy,
my
this
God.
guy.
Ooh.
and
I
that's
just
it.
brought. I just made life a lot harder for you, I think.
Perhaps.
You did. You did.
So this one and this one get.
So they're going to have a help token.
You got it. All right, and then he's gonna move. The same deal. Oh my gosh. I'm scared. They're running away from me, feeding on the blood of Shirley. Who's next?
We don't have any nervous prey. We are gonna move calm prey closest to vampires. So that worker
It's
gonna
time to
move.
party, boys.
They're gonna go towards the nearest calm prey. They're like, "What are you doing? Oh, I can't get up there yet." Wait, did I hear somebody? I don't
What's
really know what's
happening over
going
there?
Something about
on.
churros.
Just go beep. This person would probably go like this.
How
We
you
got a
doing?
little chain reaction going. Boop. So then now we got these guys, and these guys got help tokens. That means that they're going to see if they are going to go towards whatever's going on, or if they are going to say, "Not my circus, not my monkeys."
So
Although they are hired guns, they are security guards, so they should probably go, but they're going to roll the d20 and we're going to add their bravery stat to the roll. So this is a target of 10.
I got a 10.
That's a 10. So that is a success. So they are going to move 3 inches towards the nearest terrified prey. And now this gentleman right here. Is there any ways?
Give me a full report.
Oh no.
Oh, he's scared. This is being replaced with nervous. They have
This is the
chickened
one.
out. Oh, and now we have moved through all of our calm prey, and there is a stake agent on the board. So it's important to note here that stake agents do not gain reaction tokens because, for one, they're not here to help people, and they also don't gain levels of fear. So the first thing that a stake agent will do is they will move towards the nearest terrified prey. After moving, no, that's close. Okay, whew, okay, so they are not within 6 inches of a vampire. They do not have line of sight on terrified prey. Okay, yeah, the stake agent does not have line of sight on them. Very lucky for that prey right now, because stake agents' priority will always be to take out terrified prey. That is what they are there to do. It is also important to note for you guys that the stake agents, so they're going to not only prioritize taking out terrified prey, but if they do, those blood tokens are just gone. That is the prey phase, and now we are going to move to the blood phase, where are we at? The stakes phase, which we do have terrified prey on the board.
D20 plus 2.
That is not a 15, so there are no new stake agents. All right, and with that, we will signify the end of the third round. So we're going to end the game here. We really just wanted to show you guys a little bit of gameplay, about setup, that sort of thing, and moving through the different phases. And the cool thing about Tabletop Simulator is we can pause this right here. So if you guys are interested in a part 2, if you want to see what ends up happening, Jamie, do you want to do the thing?
I need the part 2, y'all. I only have 3 blood.
If you guys want to know, will the partier get to chomp every single one of those people that she drew towards her? Will the stake agent Malev, not to be confused with the gameplay Malev, finally get to hit his target? Find out in the second thrilling edition of our Night Thirst playthrough.
So yeah, if you guys want to see what happens, just let me know if you want us to play a part 2 in the comments below. We've touched on a lot of mechanics and core elements of the game today, but obviously we haven't gotten to everything and we didn't go into super, detail about everything. So if you have any questions whatsoever, there's the Black Site Studios Discord. There's a Night Thirst page in there. And thank you so much to everyone who has already gone out and supported Night Thirst. It's been really wild. This is my first game ever, and it's very exciting. So it's been just absolutely surreal, all the support. So everyone who's pre-ordering a copy right now, they're also receiving a copy of the beta PDF, which is very exciting because you can just get out there. You can be playing Night Thirst right now. You can be playing like we were tonight. Hopefully this is helpful for you to be able to watch some of the gameplay. I am a super visual learner. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video. Thank you so much for everyone who's been supporting Night Thirst, not just through, your pre-orders, which is of course appreciated, but just everyone sharing, everyone talking about it, just words of encouragement. This is so exciting, and I'm super, super grateful. So thank you so much. Thank you to JB and Malev for playing Night Thirst with me today. It's very fun to get to just play a game that you made with your friends. It's kind of crazy. And of course, as always, thank you so much to my Patreon supporters for making this video possible, for making Night Thirst possible, for being a place that it's been super fun to drop all my full vampire cosplay sets, really get into the Night Thirst mood, as well as being a place where I've been able to drop all my behind the scenes little secrets, because some of this stuff is just so hard to hold on to. So thank you again so much, guys, for all of your input and support on there as well. The sun's almost rising, so we better get out of here, us vampires. But I will catch you guys in the next episode. And until then,
Don't
don't
forget.
forget that you are currently making the world a better place just by being you. It's like your superpower. So keep doing that. Bye, guys.